Okay, so I've just got to make sure everything's all checked and tickety-boot. I think we're good. We're going. Hi. For those of you that are the first time joining us today, it's okay. So I've just got to make sure where's that coming through? Everything's all checked and tickety-boot. I think I see where it's coming through. Hold on a second. Hi. It's delayed. For those of you that are the first time joining us today, yeah, see. It's okay. So, just gonna make sure everything's all just a sec. Hey, okay, that's working. All right. So hopefully you can hear me there. Listen, it's our first time where we've got people coming and joining us from Instagram, and I just had a little sound glitch there. I think I got it all figured out. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the typical thing that I normally do with our streams, and that is go through the page of the day. At the same time, we're going to say hi to all our new friends as they appear, and get on to a couple of fun things that I got today. I want to show you a whole bunch of zines. Oh, you know what? I forgot to show it myself. There I am. Hi. So my name's Christopher. I do one-page stories every day based on suggestions from people or word prompts. And we've been doing this for the year. I've been doing this for a couple of years, but this year we've been doing it so that it incorporates people that we've met at conventions and book shows and things like that, as well as our online community. And so today's page is page 342 of this year. And oh, I got a whole bunch of people saying hi. Higgins Merle, there we go. Bob Little Art, Devin Rex, that's Yolanda, hiya. Joshua Runsman, that's a good guy. Like that guy a lot. Well, I like everybody a lot, but that guy's my son. So yeah, so I've been doing this for one a day, at least a page a day, since I started this year on about January 15th. And so we're at 342. I'm trying to get to 356. We'll see if we can do it. I've got already up on the screen. Hi, Chris. Chris has joined us on YouTube. So I've got a suggestion up already for today. As a girl discovers that she can do magic. I'll put it up on the screen. A girl discovers that she can do magic at a boarding school away from her family is today's prompt for today. And that's from Dee Dee Bullingham. So thank you, Dee Dee, for that suggestion. We'll be working on that in a few minutes. Yolanda says, your Elvis page turned out very cool. Thank you very much, Yolanda. I appreciate that. Let's see. I got a couple things I want to show you. First off, this is the book. This is the Book of Tricks. And the Book of Tricks is where I put all the suggestions that come in, as well as, so the paper ones that I've got from conventions, that we've got little billets that were filled out at conventions. I know it's flashed out, but it's there. And then all the ones that I write down that I'm suggested during the stream. And again, you can't really see it, but that's okay, because you don't need to be reading all that stuff. So this is what I use each day. And the page I was on was the page where I pulled out today's suggestion. So this is what I use each day for the prompts, the suggestions to work from. In addition to any random idea I have on my own, but those I tend to do as Patreon exclusives on the weekend. But Monday to Friday, I'm on YouTube doing these live. So, okay. My sound is glitchy. I'm going to leave and reopen YT. Okay. All right. So anyhow, so this is where we're at. But I've taken part in a couple of different things this year, and I'm going to show you one on screen. And I'm going to show you one of the events that I took part in. But for that, today's page is the suggestion was fast and easy. Now, I can't find my note for who suggested that, and I'm really apologetic about that, but I'll get it. As soon as I find it, where I put it this weekend, I will be posting that as soon as I find that, probably on Monday. So with Monday's suggestion. I hate to not credit people, so I'll be doing that then. Why I used Elvis, I don't know. But one of the things that happened yesterday is I got a new tool. It's a 9-button keypad. And this 9-button keypad enables me to do all kinds of fun things and, make things appear and disappear. And so this has really affected my productivity. And so I talked about this in the stream yesterday and told people the name and the brand, and it was relatively inexpensive for what it is. But I'm just really appreciative of this piece of technology and what it has done to speed up my process, so that if I'm working digital, I'm just kicking through it, because I don't have to transition my arm all over the screen in order to touch different, tool icons, or to touch different layers or things like that. I've got it all pre-programmed at the click of a button, or magic buttons, as Chris Kalu says. So this page is about that. For whatever reason, I have Elvis singing a song about it, and I can't tell you where the ideas come from or what my process of thinking is when I'm making pages, because, but that's what I did yesterday's page as, is an Elvis musical. So, sometimes we do the narrative voice, sometimes we do conversational pieces between people. Sometimes it's sort of your standard dramatic storytelling in a comic formats. Always landscape, right? I'm always trying first, second, third, person perspectives. It's just about shaking it up, laying things out in horizontal ways, laying things out in vertical ways, just shaking it up and exploring new avenues of story. So this page is really no panels, but there's clear breaks in actions of the repetition of the character. But it's the sort of stuff like that I'm always trying out different things. So, I hope people find that interesting. Well, let's get this off the screen. And here's our overhead, but I'm going to shut this off for just a sec. Oh, no. I'll leave it up. Tell you what, I'll leave it up, and let's just get right to this part first. I wanted to do something else, but we'll get back to that later on. I took part in a zine swap earlier this year that was put together by Janet M. Young. And Yolanda says, shaking it up like Elvis did. Oh, thank you very much. And so with this zine swap, people would do a zine, a small single sheet of paper zine, 8 by 11. That's what this is, even in 8.5 by 11, even though it's turned on its side. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And then you fold that up. You fold it over once. Actually, I can show you an example of folds. I've got one right here. And so you've got your panels laid out on there, and you look at it as, there's your cover, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4 for your story, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so when you make a serration down the center here, fold it in half and then fold it amongst these lines here. Then what it gives you is a little booklet, a little opening booklet, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So Janet Young put together a zine swap, and so so I did 4 different zines, and those 4 different zines, I had to give 10 copies of each one to Janet. Janet, being the organizer, gets to keep one of each, which is an easy compromise. Come on, for heaven's sake, she's organizing 30 some odd people. So this big, thick pile, I'm going to go through them relatively quick. I'm going to do my best to try to say people's names, but please forgive me. And please know that, as per usual, I'm always flying by the seat of my pants. So this is the Enchanted Vocal Press. I'll move this. Excuse me. I need a little sip from my sippy cup. Good. All right. So the Enchanted Vocal Press. I'm going to set this stack down so I got both hands free. Hopefully everything isn't going to slide all over the thing. So you can see here how right away you're seeing how it flips in that book format. And this one's done by Wendy Benson. This is like every one of these is great fun. I can't think of a single one of these zines that I didn't like. I liked all of them. This one is by Marshall Couture. So this is Poetic Ponderings of Farm Lizards. So you can see he's got a collage going on here to assemble all this. This is great. So you can see immediately the different approaches that people take to their zines, the different styles, the different story ideas, you know, how things come together. This is Meridell Abrams. Yeah, Meridell Abrams. Great name, Meridell. So this is a little dinosaur sat in a rock to tat one day. Which is, you know, and again, like look at this wonderful. Clearly, she's put this pencil crayon on each one of the books because that's not printed. So whether the book itself is copied, the highlight here of this material on the outside edge is individually put. And when you're doing 10 of them, that's a lot to do. Philomena's Wedding. And so the whole point of this thing is, this is Pixie Cora. The whole point of this thing is that on Dee Dee Williams' channel, she gave everybody 3-word prompts. Okay, and as soon as those, I'll get to that in a second. As soon as those 3-word prompts came in, you're off and running, and you've got your thing to do. So a lot of people list theirs. Tropical Periwinkle and Dress. So Philomena's Wedding Luau. So again, we've got a collage approach to it. Look at that, fantastic. She gave credit to Mary Quees, the artist that did that. That's great. So just beautiful. I can't read everyone, but just a beautiful story, beautiful visuals. Yolanda says, Chris says, Mary is great. Oh yeah, Meridell Abrams, Mary, I guess. Yeah, I really enjoy all of these. After the afternoon, after spending the afternoon drawing, Timmy went to bed, and this is by, I'm not sure who. Looking for a name. Well, there's a signature on the back, but I'm sorry, I don't know who it is. I give him credit. So this, again, look at this very different approach. Look, and this fantastic stylization that's going on in this. Yolanda says, please be kind if you get to mine. I was in the middle of moving. Well, because you're poetic, I'll be kind. So, I mean, just look at this. Very different from one. This is Miriam's. Oh, this is Miriam. Oh, our good friend Miriam from Israel. This is fantastic. Yeah, what a different approach to illustrating the principal character. John Muro. It's emulating John Muro's art style. That's fantastic. Okay, Tim used these prompts. This is by Tim Renz, The Good Ranch Home, and a very different paper, a nicely textured paper that he's using here, a cold press. But look at that. Once again, that's a fantastic horse, by the way. A very, very different approach. Help! I love the uniqueness of each of these pieces, and to me, that is just one of the gifts of it. This is one of Dee Dee Willingham's light bulb. Walrus. Love it. I am the walrus. I am he is, you are me, and we are all together. I wonder what that's from. Fantastic. Cuckoo, kajoob. Oh, so good. Very, very brilliant. Walrus, lime green, a musical instrument. Oh, amazing. So Dee Dee is the person that pulled all the prompts for everybody, and also suggested today's one-page story. This one is by Cleopatra. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the title. Age of Portal Services. This is J. Susan Lancaster. Or Jasper. Oh, it's Jasper. Okay. This is J. Susan Lancaster's. Greetings, Earthling. My name is Cleopatra. Again, there's little embellishments on this where there's clearly a little gold pen applique here. Love it. Oh, and the stars too, a little silver in the sky. Some more gold. So that's individual touch-ups on each of the 10 things that she had to submit. So whether you photocopy 10 copies, that's still touching up each one of them. Chicken pickle. Oh, love it. This is by, maybe it's, Maybe it's inside. I think it might be Olivia. Chuck, #1 pickleball champion, and Olivia. So I think Olivia did this. And Yolanda says Didi is so awesome. So for those that are watching on Instagram, feel free to, I can see what you're saying as well if you make comments. There's a little delay, so it might take me a second to get back to you. But if you type in the chat, then I can respond to you there. Once upon a time, there was a cucumber named Chuck. Look at that. Hasta la vista, baby. It's just the only way to read that, by the way. Oh, fantastic. Chicken pickle. Next time I introduce myself at a party, I use Cleopatra. The Great Race of Yeath. And this is done by Imperium Vol. There we go. Imperium did this one. Great Race of Yeath. Look at that. So this is very clearly line art, black ink line art. Fantastic fun. What did they want? What were they searching for? Well done. Okay, next up we got this is Jasper. This is another one of Jasper's. The High Tide News. Making waves today. Is it fake or is it real? Again, what a wonderful, unique approach to things. Artsy fartsy. That's good stuff. So, fartsy con artist. Love it. This is Terry Brett. Good old Terry. Love it. Whistle while you work. It's Carol Burnett. Maybe not, but come on, get smart. Do not start. Love it. Whistle while you work. I love the signs that the masks all take place and participate. That's fantastic. Yolanda says all the zines are so unique and fun. They really are. Like you can just see such a different approach to each one. And it says Kelly Simons maybe, the Humming and the Yowie. See, very, very, very much a different approach to our last one, and yet, incorporating stickers even. That's great. I know that guy. I remember encrypted in any comic character. Oh, that's how he got put in there. Love it. This is Carol McDonald. This is the Sea Urchin, established in 2023, the Sea Urchin Valley. Oh, let's see. Again, I think this is watercolor they're using. That Carol has used here. Wonderful. Looks like it to me anyways. Maybe it's an ink, but again, the distinct difference between from one to the next. I think, Yolanda says, I think the Yowie is an Australian Sasquatch. Cool. Pistachieros, says P. Higgs. Yes. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Athena, follow me. I found a special treasure. This is by Christy Rhodes. And again, yet another approach. Here's pencil crayon, and yet there's incorporated some text here. Little elements. Oh, I like that. The little clip in on the interior. That's kind of fun. Look at this. That's great. I really like that a lot. This is Once Upon a Timeline. This is Riri. Hey, it's Riri. Once Upon a Timeline. Look at this approach. Wow, look at that dragon. Good fun. Queen. Oh, fantastic. I love the overlapping elements. I really like that, the mixed aspect to it. Ox, Dragon, and Queen were those suggestions. Chris says, I'm so upset. The mail post in Mexico, this is where Chris is, sucks. No post office near, and even if I got to drive the 24 kilometers it takes, any mail delivered to me will never make it to my house. We got to figure out a solution for that. Maybe we can scan things and get them to you in other ways. This is Missy did this one. This is Koi, Are you being coy? Fish and kangaroo halo. Koi fish. Sorry, I'm thick. Koi fish. Kangaroo and halo. Look at that. Once upon a time, there was a koi fish swimming in a big pond. That bunny's hilarious. Oh, this is smart. They put a divider page in here because they've applied some glitter onto it. That's great. That way that'll stay there for some time. Smart thinking. Love it. Oh, more bunnies. See, that's what happens. Great one. That's a great one. Our next one is... I'm not sure, but it's fun, and we're going to go through it anyhow. I think it's Miriam. I think this is our good friend Miriam in Israel. So we've got, look at this. Me, Ra, Emra. Look at that. What a great style. Green shoes, emerald shoes. It was the only thing I could think all week. Pesky, it's done in the style of Pesky. Parcels are the only thing we ever get here, and sometimes even those are stolen. That stinks. That stinks, Chris. Pesky, Emma Green, and shoes. Oh, great. If you get a chance, any of the people that you see their work here and you're interested in what they're doing, please go check them out. Because it's a wonderful way to see the wealth of talent that's out there, right? This is another one of Terry's, Terry Brett. Tales from the Wild West. Hey, look at this old fella. Well, a crab met a toucan in Western U.S. Said, "You're not from these parts," would be my best guess. I'm sorry. Oh, look at the side of that guy. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, next up is Janet. Right on. This is the person that organized the whole thing. Cougar Carrier. Wonderful. There's an elegant line there. I like that. Real soft use of color. Cougar population in decline. Cougar bait. Oh, so good. I've read all these already, but getting to flip through them again is so much fun. And we're making our way. We're making our way right through here. This is, I think this is also Janet. This is Malnura Mentions from Prairie City, Oregon. And again, look at that approach. Really like that. I really like the colors. I really like this color palette a lot. See the honey mushroom from an airship. On the record, Sheriff Peter Pickle speaks out. Janet is so funny. She's a hoot. Oh, yeah. A loving memory of Charlotte. At Halloween time, the most spidery time of the year. This is by... see, like me, they signed the inside. Brenda. This is Brenda Robinson that did this one. Look at that. That's fun. Charlotte's Web words to save a friend. Oh, I love it. From Charlotte's Web. Oh, hello. This is great. This is a lot of fun. Have a perfect Halloween. All right. Okay, next up. Oh, this is one of mine. Okay, this is my suggestions for this were... I have to look them up. Put them on the inside. No, this is my copy, so I didn't put... This is Vulture, Samurai, and Laughter. So this is the one... I did this in mixed media. And, you know, this is a lot of fun. Each of the ones that I did, I tried a different approach to it. So this one's mixed media with paint pens and ballpoint pen. And I put myself in it. It's cool. That's me. Anyhow, what do we got next? Randall the Candle by Leona Jean. Randall the Candle goes to the circus. It's great. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that the incorporation of text and image is so varied across from little booklet to booklet, and the sparing application of text is great, because in those instances it allows the reader to spend some time to visually put together the story, and in some cases that's far more advantageous than people would initially think. That's really well done. The Mystery of Pecan Hollow by Leah Foy from Blakely, Ireland. So again, look at the very different approach. Looks like pen and watercolor application. Oh, lovely. That's fantastic fun. Like that house, those kids, like the whole thing. Louisville Slugger. With quivering voices, they stammered out their apologies, explaining that they had made a mistake. It's great. Look at that. Lovely. Okay, here we go. Another one of mine. Okay, Magical Creatures. So this one is, well, I generally work mixed media. So this one is pen, it's ballpoint, ink wash, paint pen, white ink, black ink, whatever. Magical Creatures. My prompts for this one were vampire, gardener, vampire, and unicorn, I believe. I had a lot of fun with this text. Dale, yep. Do you believe in Pegasus? Pegasi? What are they in plural? I'm not sure what they are in plural. It means nothing to anyone, but I like playing with text like that and visual images. Too bad they're gone. This is this is how he remembers unicorns. Or Pegasus. It's not unicorn, it's Pegasus. Hi, Linda. Linda's joined us. We're going through all the zines, Linda, that from the swamp a couple months ago. This is how she sees a Pegasus. And too bad they don't exist. Oh, there we go. Apparently she's the vampire. Silly fun. Yolanda says, all your zines are fantastic, Christopher. Oh, that's very nice. All these zines are fantastic. Sweet Malibu Kitty Dreams. This is by Yolanda. All right. I gotta just set my stacker here because I don't want them all falling. There we go. Sweet Malibu Kitty Dreams. And the suggested words are heart, bracelet, window. Oh, I like this. Oh, I love it. I love listening to my personal bracelets while she streams. Blah, 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 blah. Gee, don't email me. Highlander, Christopher showed the Tim's Funzine already. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Sometimes I fall asleep and dream that I'm an infamous cat burglar. Love it. Oh, nicely done. I love it. Taking the claws and taking the glass out of the window. Well done. That's a great visual. And the transition of the hands. First he does the glass, then he moves it away, then he goes in for the jewels. Love it. That's great. Malibu, get off all my papers. She's referring to Dee Dee Willingham that has her cat always attending to her streams and climbing up on things. So, okay. Oh, here's some fun. These are by J.L. Johnson. I think this is Janice Johnson. These are great. These are on lined paper. Masterpiece. Oh, just great. Look at all that story. I remember reading these. I really enjoyed these. Oh, and a little punch of a powerful image. Look at that. That's great. That's great. Tumbleweed, olives, and arch are incorporated in that story. Here's another one. Oh, so there's 4 of these. I really like these a lot. I remember sitting down and enjoying reading through these. Someday I'll be able to rest. Working hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Someday Saturday, household chores. Sunday, preparing for the new week. I'll light a candle. Tired eye. I light a candle, tired eyes blinking. I realize someday is not a day of the week. Oh, that's so great. That's well done. Yolanda says, thanks, Christopher. Oh, you're more than welcome. It's a great piece. Baker Swartz, is that about Dee Dee's cat? This is the about the Malibu piece. Definitely. It incorporates, there's Dee Dee. Dee Dee has a pair of miniature arms that are actually look just like her regular arms, but dolls, they're doll arms, and she can put them into the screen sometimes, and it just cracks you up because it looks exactly like her actual arms with her bracelets on it, but then when she does a miniature arms, it just throws you off. It's fun. But her cat is constantly on her desk, so yeah, great. Chris says, I have Kika on my lap as I needle felt. She's cold. She's learned to leave the wool alone. No more stealing balls or figures. Oh, that's great. If you get a chance, anyway, check out Chris's channel. She's doing some fantastic stuff with needle felting. And she was on last week on Tuesday. We did 3 Prompt Tuesday, or this Tuesday that just passed. And before that, like Chris's last visit, she walked us through the needle felting process. So if you're interested in that, check out Chris's channel or check out the stream we did together where she just walks through the whole process right there with us. It's great. Blue Moon Feast. Oh, look at this. I love it. I love that. The listing of things. Oh, they started a fire. There's the fire. That's a clam bake. She put the lime in the coconut and she drank them both up. Journey. It's a great band. Wearing a plaid shirt, blue jeans, boots, and a red cowboy hat. She began her journey alone. Down 50 long miles of Fear Road to a place called Hope. Excellent. These are so great. Thank you. Thank you for all those. That's 4 of them. That's not easy to do. All right. I got another one that in the stack of mine. Hey, you! That's, again, mixed media, whatever. Chris says, November 20th was the needle felting visit, and December 12th was 3 Prompt Tuesday. And Baker Sports says, yeah, the artificial arms are funny. They really are. Hey, you! Now, this is the faded copy. The copy that I have, because I've given away the one that was in the swap. But the faded copy that I have was my original. It says, did you hear me yell, hey, you? Yeah, even an armadillo could have heard it. Ooh, an armadillo. They can use hammers, you know. I saw it once. You did not. No, I totally didn't, but that'd be awesome. They both laugh. Armadillo, tools for today's tradesmen. Maybe I saw it with a chainsaw. Armadillo mask. This is just silly. Now, I also switched up the way it folds so that I put an advertisement in between just because I wanted to play with the format of it. And then have this be a sort of after credits scene, you know. But that's a really faded copy of it. I keep it for myself because, you know, I know what it looks like. All right, who we got next? This is Carol. Carol Boudreau. Strange. How strange she was. Look at that. Look at this well-typed, presented image. Oh, this is so much more professional than anything I do. This is great. No one grows sticks. The one thing I found with most of these is even though there's clear poeticism to some of them, and there's clearly a different tonality to them, the majority of them are all pretty funny. There's everybody has these little lines that they'll just drop in and just great. Carol Boudreau is CB. Oh, great. It's tricky remembering everybody's names from the different social sites that you'll see them on. Now this one came like this, in a sleeve from Peggy. Like, talk about stepping up. Oh my gosh. Wally Wombat goes for a nature walk. That's fantastic. Wally Wombat loves flowers. Wally watches birds and bugs. It's really, really pretty too. Really beautiful illustrations. Wally stops to smell the poppies. Wally shouldn't smell cactus and goes home. But the sleeve it came in. Oh my goodness. What do we got? We got the bee in the bathroom. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, actually, I like the Ted Knight. Do you know Ted Knight from Who Can Turn a World Down with Their Smile? What is that? What the heck show was that? Anyways, Mary Tyler Moore. I had to do the Ted Knight impression to remember what that show title was. He goes, Anyways, Mary. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, a curious bee entered a house. All right, so we've got the prompts for this one are insect, any state, and toothbrush. And we're almost through these, guys, and we'll get on to our next thing. But I appreciate everybody going through these with me. For those that don't know, Ted Knight, the actor that played Ted Knight, he also, well, not only did he have his own show afterwards about him as a cartoonist, but he was also the voice on Super Friends. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, that's the same guy. Ooh, ouch, cactus, do not smell, never touch. Personal experience there when I was a 1-year-old. Oh, no. One of my kids learned that cattle fences aren't things you grab a hold of when they were at a farm once. This is a bee in the bathroom. Look at this. Again, a completely different approach from one piece to the next. I like that. I like the fact that it's separating the prongs on the toothbrush. Great. The bee heard footsteps. He flew away to hide. The bee finally saw what it was used for, or not. Bees don't use toothbrushes. She is brushing her teeth. Love it. Rose on the grave. It's Marsh. This is Marsh again. Look at this one. Great. Marsh makes comics. Very cool. Clearly incorporating some of that hip-hop style background. Love it. Psh, psh. It's one of my favorite sounds, by the way. Psh. So this is, again, look at that. Lovely. And again, the uniqueness of one piece to the next. The Legend of Robin Hood. Oh my gosh, by Roger Miller. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I love Roger Miller. Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest, laughing back and forth with the other has to say. Look at this drawing. I love it. I love this. Never thinking there was a danger in the water. They were drinking. They go a little bit. Fantastic. Well done. Who is this? This is Sharon Lombard. Oh, one last. This is the last one I did. Beavers. So this I did for Janet. The person that organized this zine swap so that all of these zines could be shared from all of these people from, honestly, around the world was Janet M. Young. And so Janet had told a story about a beaver that chewed down the peach tree in her backyard. So being devilish, I had to do a zine of it and put Janet in it. So the suggestion for this is beavers, blinking, and broom. Beavers, blinking, broom. I love alliteration. There we go. What? I don't mind tooting my own horn. I had an adventure. Cup of tea? Oh, it sounds lovely. So anywho, again, I don't know where my head goes. I saw this beautiful peach tree. I knew they grew it for me, so I took it. Tea? Thank you. So what happened then? Right. Some lady chased me all the way to the river. That's Janet. Sorry, Janet. She got me in the eye with her broom. I got that tree, though. That's why he's blinking. Get it? Yeah. Beavers. So there you go. That was for Janet as a thank you for doing this whole thing. So that's those. And again, that was mixed media. Need a sip of the old cuppa. Yolanda says, I love this beaver zine. That's the one I received. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that was specifically taking Janet's story and moving that into the zine swap. And it's just sort of was like, I love how things come together in a circular way. So this is our fun that we usually do each day. I have to go take my hubby and Lucy for a walk. Boy, make sure to have the leashed up there. Lucy, I mean. But thanks, Yolanda. Have a great day. And again, great zine. Great zine to everybody that might be in the stream that contributed to that. Honestly. You're doing an event like this, and sometimes people will take part in group activities like that and not engage in it in a sort of open and honest way. Yeah. I didn't find out with a single one of those. I thought they were all really great. Yolanda says she's going to need a big poop bag. It happens. All right. So hi to everybody that's joined that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. Lots of cool people coming in and out. We got Dwayne Van and Neo Kolani and 34th the Gingerbread. Hey, fantastic writer. Okay, so what I've got here is today's suggestion. I'm going to scroll back and put it up on the screen for a second. And everybody should be able to see it at some point. All right, so this is the suggestion for today. And so, like I said earlier, well, why don't I tell you this way? Here you go. I hope it's not too loud. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, good. Happy moments. There we go. That's our little intro video that I normally put up at the start. Okay. I've got all kinds of little videos that I do. My cat Corbin is usually right here beside me, being a nuisance, climbing across the desk while I'm working and things like that. But he is not doing so today. But what it is the one-page suggestions come in, or prompt words come in. And on Tuesdays, we do 3 Prompt Tuesday. So I take 3 words and I do a comic page. So a lot of the stuff that I have been doing, here's this little quick slideshow for a couple of seconds. I'll just show you some of these pages. And but what these are is some of the one-page stories that I do. And the one from today, the Elvis one, talking about my 9-button device. So I thought that'd be an interesting story. But that is just today's, number 342 since the start of the year. And there's the first page, and I'm giving credit to a lot of the suggestions for all these pages that are in this slide strip. But, and then there's the gist of what am I doing? So, show you one more. Fishy, Flat Earth, fantastic finale. The suggestion for this page was Flat Earther finds out about the end of the world and do it through a fish-eyed lens. So I had his neighbor tell him through a keyhole. Okay, that's enough of that. So let's get moving on to our next thing. Now, what I've got set up for today is I've got in front of me, one of the things that I do when I'm working on pages, and so we're going to work on a page together from the suggestion that came in, and that was a young girl. Yeah, I have to read it again. I'm getting older. So the suggestion is a girl discovers she can do magic at a boarding school away from her family. And that's today's prompt, and that came from Dee Dee. A girl discovers she can do magic at a boarding school away from her family. What does that sound like? That sort of sounds familiar. I'm not sure how, but it sort of sounds like something else. Well, let's do our own thing. Let's do it our own way. Just gonna get this all set back up again. Okay, so one of the things that I'll do, this is just little cue cards like you're writing a speech. This is the bag from an onion, a bunch of onions. So I'll tear up some paper, and Chris says, Harry Potter vibes. Harry Potter. That's a book, right? Don't pay any attention to me. All right, so a few of the things that I'll do. I'll take scraps of paper, and I'll tear them up different sizes. I don't care. And I've got some gesso. I've got some gel medium. I've got some onion bag, and I've got some masking tape. And so one of the things I find, when people have a hard time getting themselves invested, and what I mean by that is, like, they have a hard time, oh, I don't want to wreck the paper, and I don't want if I make a mistake. Let go of that. And it sounds so easy to say, but what I mean by that is, there's two fantastic things. One is nobody expects everything to be perfect, and the people that do, you don't need to listen to them. But at the same time, according to the author, there's a magical school in America in the Harry Potter universe. There's also a magic school in South America in the Harry Potter universe. There's a number of them. And the South American one has all kinds of culturally based magics and things like that. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to monkey up the surface of this piece of paper before I get started. And so how I go about this is I've got some different materials here. And so what I generally do is that I'll build up a base. And in building up this base, I don't have to worry about making a mess of the surface. Like, I don't have to worry about making a mess about what I'm doing, is because, I already made a mess, sticking things down and so on and so forth. So who cares? Why worry about it anymore, right? So, if you can figure out a way in order to let go of that hang up for yourself, then do so. There's no, anybody that tells you that there's hard, fast rules that this is the way a thing must be done or something like that, they're not helping you. I don't know why people do that to each other. Chris says, my sister's a fan. She sends me videos and links to watch and read. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, I remember reading the Harry Potter books as they were coming out with the kids when they were younger. And, I used to try to do all the voices. I had a really great Richard Harris Dumbledore voice that I would read with the kids, and then Richard Harris passed away, and I couldn't do a sufficient Michael Gambon Dumbledore, according to my sons. So, okay, so I've already got some different papers in here. I've got some of the Youngin bag in here already. I'm throwing down matte medium as well as a white gesso in here. And because there's different textures that you're going to see on the paper, there's, of course, the texture of the Youngin bag. And then there's a different texture for the tape. And so all of these different parts of things being under your surface, this kind of crazy modulation just lets you strip yourself of any concern about, oh, well, what if it isn't perfect, so on and so forth. Because you're already having the fun of mixing it up. Now, I do this with paintings and large-scale drawings as well. There's no rhyme or reason to the viewer of why it's like that. And some people do need to have some sort of comprehensive understanding of every facet of why we do what we do with their creative expression. But I'm not, again, overly concerned about explaining it to people, but generally it shows. I have found that there's always some much grander narrative applied to doing this than I like mixed media application, and I like trying different things. If you've got something that you think would be of benefit to you along those lines, do it. If you want to try different papers, if you want to, there's different effects that we've done, like jelly plating is a process that you can do. And I work on jelly plated papers and tell stories with those. The vulture page that you saw was on paper that had been done through the jelly plating technique. And if you're interested in finding out about that, Yolanda, who was here, Devin Rex Art, who was here earlier with us, she's absolutely brilliant for that. And she can show you some really crazy things that you can do It's a sheet of gelatin. You put acrylic paint on it. You can put you can do transfers from photocopies or magazine pages, and then put those onto another surface with acrylic. It's kind of that's the principle of it, and it's great. It's great fun. It's it allows you to do many things. I am terrible at it, but I'm not interested in having the perfect images or having an established narrative using pre-existing images. I like to use it to give me a starting surface to work on so that I may try different things on top, like, telling a different one-page story. And it just gives some interesting, I say this all the time, some interesting complexity to the page that I'm doing by having this complicated business in the back. It's the same principle as this. And, if you can find those things for yourself that give you avenues of exploration, whatever they are, do it. Even so much as just getting a colored primer and putting a colored primer down on a surface and seeing what that gives to you, right? There's a great benefit to that, because immediately off the hop, you've already got this large value laid down. You've already started, holding the brush and allowing yourself to get into the rhythm of the brush strokes, etc. Because this is really prone to accordion stretching and moving around as you're playing it, you sort of have to take your time with the onion bag here. Hit it a couple of times in the process, but that's okay. So I've done this before on a page. I've shown that in on the channel here before. I did a page called Butterfly Net, and the butterfly net, what it is giant butterfly people chasing a bunch of little humans and trying to catch them in nets. But what when I've got them holding the giant butterfly nets, the butterfly nets are this. They're this material here, and embedded into the image, and then I've painted the image right over top, the background showing through. And unless you feel comfortable enough to touch it, most people don't realize that it's actual netting in the image. I love stuff like that. Like, I love people that'll use ceramic in a wall hanging piece, like in a two-dimensional piece hanging on a wall, and they'll have ceramic letters embossed off of it or something like that. I love things like that. I really do. So the fibrousness of the tape comes through in whatever you put over top of this. The little texture that's in there, it leaks through, it shows through. And so those marks that you make over top of one surface are not going to be the same, quite the same as they might be on another surface. And that's largely because of what each of these surfaces offer us. I think this will be enough in just about a second here. Got a lot of stuff going on here. So I'm going to give this a second. I might use the hairdryer in a sec, so warning in advance. I might use it. I might not. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to, because it's going to be forever waiting for it to dry. So give me a sec. So I borrowed this from Lori, my wife. I said, honey, you have an old hairdryer. I asked my wife, I said, honey, you have an old hairdryer? And she's like, why? And I'm like, I just need it for the studio. And then she watched a video that I had done the next day, and I'm using the hairdryer to dry out the surface of a piece I'm working on. And she's like, that's what you needed my old hairdryer for? She just thought it was her husband's typical silliness. So bear with me for a sec. rework this a little bit. So the silly part of all this is that this isn't even the making the page part yet, except for it is to me, right? Like this has very little to do with what the actual narrative is going to be and what the actual visuals that are going to be laid on top of it. But with a lot of my pieces, I will work directly on a pre-existing surface. And while give this a couple seconds more, I'll show you what I mean. This is a jelly plated image. So this was a bunch of images were put through and placed on the surface here. The only one that's showing through right now is this piece of church and this guy over here by a tree. And the rest of it is all just me drawing on top of it in a red ballpoint and a black ballpoint. But it's just an extra piece of visual imagery and all kinds of fantastic modulation of the base image. It's a red piece of paper, but this modulation in the surface of these pink pieces that are popping through there, pink pieces popping through, yeah, just allow for this sort of interesting visual elements to come through here. Like, why is there pink highlights in his jacket in such a weird way? Well, that's because it's underneath the surface, or it's underneath the image on the surface. This is a page that has paint rolled onto it. This is actually a bag that from a grocery store purchase, and so paint has been rolled over it. And that's why you see all this dispensation of paint on the surface, and then images put down on top of it that are then incorporated into the page. Here's another example of what we're doing right now. You see the tape. There's masking tape. There's electrical tape. There's Post-its. There's just washes here. There's white gesso in there, and scribbles from a green pencil. And so, and this is and you can see all these pages that all the art that these became, the finished pages on Instagram and Facebook. So in my daily postings. And here again is another jelly plated page. Now you can see again how, incomplete, my jelly plating is, and yet it doesn't matter because it's just fun, interesting surface to paint over top of. But then now and then the words will pop through, like the allure. So that's what the page gets called. So all this stuff, let's see what else I got for you. These are just notes for another project. This is just a white, brushed white ink and a Fudenisuke pen with graphite. And it's just a bunch of images but it's on a heavy blue cardstock, right? And it doesn't mean you can't just work pencil on paper either. There's no rules on what mediums that we use at all. It's watercolor and pencil crayon and upside down. So my point is that just do whatever you're doing and don't be too concerned about, well, this is what I'm known for. Well, whatever. Have fun. It's a form of communication. It's a form of self-exploration. And, the people that have the grander, loftier ambitions or associations than that, I don't know. You do you. But it doesn't mean that everybody's going to get it. We're just trying to tell stories. And in the course of telling stories, we're doing things that make it a little more compelling and interesting for us. And for me, that means, really playing creatively with how I approach the storytelling part and shaking up and trying different mediums all the time and trying different narrative devices all the time. And because I'm doing a single page a day, or at least a page a day, doesn't mean the pages always have to be one, or the stories have to be one single page. I've got numerous stories that are multiple pages, but it's just sort of setting myself a base of here's where I want to get started and here's where I want to get going from. So that allows me to take off and be creative and explore and follow whatever inclination I have today. And if you can find something like that for yourself, Well, by goodness, all the kids and sing and dance in the streets in your honor. So just going to put a piece of tape down here to hopefully just catch. See, I knew it would pull up. That's why I put the tape down. This one didn't really adhere properly. And I'm just going to dry this once more really quick. And then let's get cracking on the next step. I'm saying right now because I'm sorry, what I said was you can't hear anything I'm saying right now because of the blow dryer. Okay, so it's not dry, 100% dry yet. Who cares? We're going to move on. Another thing I like to do, these are construction, like these are what we use as carpenters and construction workers, and these are nice thick broad pencils. You can find them at like Canadian Tire, but I love these suckers because I can hold them in my goofy looking hands. So if that wasn't messed up and monkeyed up enough, I'll just do a little bit of this on it because, again, like I said before, it doesn't matter. Now I've got a couple of different approaches that I can take to today's page. To the girl that discovers at boarding school that she has magical powers away from her family. Something along those lines. I'm going to check that one more time because there's a funny aspect to that. I always try to look for, when I'm doing a story, a girl discovers she can do magic at boarding school away from her family is the suggestion. But do you see the little part of that? A girl discovers she can do magic at boarding school. Harry Potter. It's the away from her family part that I like. And the reason that I like that is it's like saying she can't do it when she's with them. You know? Like it's a sort of, when she's not near her family, suddenly she can do, magic. So I got to let this dry a little bit more. But I'm going to draw the young girl here once this is settled, this piece of onion mix. But we'll go into the next panel. And so I'm going to draw just a big, crazy school. Now, if you grew up reading, there you go, look at that. There's my fancy professional pencils. Let's get into this. Is this guy dry here? We're all pretty, we're dry enough there. All right, so one of the things with any application that we do is that there's a number of different ways that we can work. And I tend to enjoy drawing specifically with pen and with marker. And it's largely because of practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. And I'm not overly concerned in this process here about everything, being perfectly lined and things like that. Janet Young would give me a hard time for not using a ruler. But Chris wrote, the pencil. So I'm just putting in some windows and into our building here. And just getting everything drawn in and just having some fun with it. But I'm going to do this balanced, this wing and that wing, and then the center part. Just the sort of ominousness to it, so as you walk up to it from the distance, it's like da 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 da. But at the same time, in daylight, it's a mundane school, right? But I really like the idea of the scary-looking boarding school from a distance. I never went to any boarding school, clearly, of course, but because I'd probably be told, actually, they're lovely places to go. I met Bunny and Migs there when I was back in elementary. Which is how I expect everybody talks at boarding schools. We need a fourth for our yacht club. Are you in? Yeah, that's That's how it works in my head. Okay, so side stack. So the line art that I'm doing right now is fairly rough, and the reason that it's fairly rough is that I want to play with some other mediums in here. I'm going to put some paint pen in and cut sharper lines, right? Chris says I would have liked to have gone. I would have liked to go to a boarding school, but they're not common here. I think a lot of people get great benefit out of going to a boarding school, or a boarding school. I'm sorry, but you know they're clearly cost prohibitive, right? Like, you've got to have some degree of accommodation in order to do that, or you know those parents that are making that sacrifice for you. Okay, so putting our front, let's do our front door here. Finish these last windows. So this is a Fudenosuke pen. I love these things. They're fantastically interesting drawing pens. They've got a hard tip, a soft tip for them, and in my opinion, they're probably the best inking pen there is. No, you know, generally I'm not as sloppy as I'm being right now in my inking, but so we'll put some little chimneys up there. Here are our smoke stacks in the corner, and then we'll put our big front entrance at the front, well, at the front of it, right? So I always leave it open. If people do have two things, if people do have ideas that they want to suggest for the one-page things, you can put it in the chat, whether you're on Instagram or on YouTube. I'll see it. I'll write it down. But you're also free to put that in the comments for any of the videos that I do, or the comments on Instagram, comments on Facebook. And we'll put them in the list. And when we put them, we'll give you credit. And because I really appreciate people having fun with this idea. I enjoy doing it. And I'll be doing stories anyways. But I thought at the start of the virus, I had a number of people that I knew from what I used to do in my daily that were really isolated at the start of all of that lockdown nonsense. And so I started doing the one-page stories from suggestions in order for a social avenue for some of the people that I knew personally that could really benefit from a social outlet, because they'd expressed to me that they've lost their social outlet because it was they would go to the place where I used to be, where I used to work, and I'd see them consistently from that. But when you're not allowed to leave your house and you live on your own and you're working from home and you're ordering your groceries, that isolation is condemning. So I said, well, you know, let's play with the idea of story, and if you've got story ideas, let's see what we can make out of them. So that's how it all started. Chris says, Mexican very rich families used to send their kids to European boarding schools. That was ages ago. I think stuff like that's still common. There's a great deal of international students that come to London here because we have a few different schools. There's the international school, as well as Fanshawe, and as a college, and in Western as a university. So, yeah, must be nice. No, I think it's fine. If you've got that opportunity, it's an adventure for the kids. But the idea of 11-year-olds going across country boundaries with credit cards, buying probably all the things that their parents didn't expect them to spend money on, I think it's all very interesting too. So I'm just putting down some of this paint marker here, little hits. I'm going to come through in a second as well with a watercolor, because why not? So one of the reasons I tend to work mixed media is because I really don't believe in the rules. So I got a really lovely quote that's going to be on the new book from Jim Shooter. Took a look at the book, and Jim used to be the head of Marvel Comics, and Jim said that my visual storytelling style is heterodox. And what that means is, orthodox means you follow the rules, unorthodox means you don't follow the rules, and heterodox means, oh, you're making new rules, you're doing whatever you want. And yet there's a result from it. So I thought that was super cool and nice of him to say. But it's kind of, it's my mentality to it, is that when we're telling stories, when we're exploring possible avenues of expression, why not? Okay, so far I've used a gray paint marker, a black Fudenosuke pen, and if you're interested in trying these out, it's by Tombow, and the water-based pigment ink, the hard tip. And these are fantastic. You can find them for $5, $6 at most art supply stores. And I keep reaching back here for my water because I keep my paint water away from me, because I can't tell you how many times over the years I've put my paintbrushes in my cup, or I've tried to drink from my paint water, and you're going to make some tactical decisions at some point to change that up. Artists, nobody does more damage to artists than artists themselves. Bunch of weirdos. How many people that are in the chat have ever done that? I'd be interested to find that out, unless it's just me. Probably just me. Nobody else has ever done that, Chris. You're a weirdo. Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. Okay. This is a water-soluble Faber-Castell pen. Inexpensive. You get a set of them for like $15, $20 for like a basic 6 or something. But fun enough. So this is a China marker, and a China marker is basically like a wax grease pencil. But I like the texture that it gives. I really do, and there's an interesting quality to it. So here's one of the fun things that's happening now. As I've drawn over this bunch of surfaces that I've laid down, and you can really see it with this China marker. And they're called China markers from I know that's a Chinese company. But once you see the different textures peeking through as you're going over the different surfaces that you have throughout your image, and then the wonderful separations in the surfaces, all kinds of different stuff starts happening in your image that is, it's not so much that it's beyond your control, it's just additional activity than, intended action. So, you're wanting to define your scary estate building that's been turned into a private boarding school. But in the course of drawing it onto your piece of paper, because you've got all this modulated surface, now you start getting the complexity of these lines, or the little bits of information of the scribbled pencil that I didn't bother pulling out of the image, or the different underlying values of the blue and the white. And so as you're going through it and you're putting these things down, I mean, you can come in with different tools and play with this surface, push these values back, like here's a white pencil I'm putting in here. And in the course of doing so, it's changing your perception of the image itself, because the blue is now pushed back and it looks just like a uniform path or walkway here that's white all the way across. But it's just something extra to look at, right? Okay, we got some answers to my big question. Chris in Mexico says, I've heard of that, never drunk with my paint water. I use different containers. The one for my painting brushes isn't normally a plastic pot. Well, I mean, my cup supersize, isn't a plastic pot either, but it's proximity for me. I'm that basic that it's proximity. Agua. Linda says, I've dipped my paintbrushes in my coffee many times. Have you ever drank your paint water, though? Have you ever gone to pick up your paint water thinking it was your cup of, wait a minute, that's not right, and put it back down again? I love that. The last second response. Whoops, almost. Nope. I'm going to let this dry, and then I come in and I'm going to work and pull up different values here with this white pencil. I picked up some new white pencils the other day. This is the standard Prismacolor that I usually get. Great pencils to use. And that's one of the best whites in the biz if you want a nice pencil crayon that shows up on different surfaces. But I am also trying out the same Faber-Castell company that I talked about earlier. These are their Goldfaber pencil crayons, and that's a good-looking pencil. What a strange thing to be excited about, but that's a good-looking pencil. Okay, so I've got the house laid down. I've got this put into our image. I'm just playing with a couple of lines around the surface of it. And then we'll get some trees in here as well. Play with this in a second. I just like exploring and having fun and pushing the environment around with different tools and different mark making things. I'm coming in on the reason that I grabbed this in the first place, though, is that along that edge, I just want to get some green in there so it's not too crisp a difference. All right. Chris says, I keep my drinks with a cap. Avoided paint water so far. Why? What makes you ask, Chris? No reason. I've never done it. Nope, not me. Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. When you're in the rhythm in the studio, by goodness, sometimes a man's got to drink some paint. Okay, so we've got our boarding house coming in, and we've got an idea. Well, I'll put a nice light blue in behind the building. And what do we got? I'll use you. Yeah. I think that for those that are interested, if you want to try the zine approach, the zine idea that I was showing you examples of, I think you should do it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. And I mean, who knows what's going to come out of that. Okay, so here's a fun thing in the light blue that I've put down here in the background. Now, you can see there's differences in what's happening on the surface. There's the blue tape, but there's this really flat, you can see it's a lighter bit of information there in the camera. These little flat spots that have this strange kind of break pattern around them. What that is the matte medium that I use to put some objects down. When you paint over that with a watercolor, because it doesn't have the ability to get into the fibers of the paper to be absorbed, and it is doing its best to be absorbed into that matte medium that's on there. But because of its application on the surface, you get this fantastic discoloration from the one to the other. And then there's a little bit of rimming that happens along the outside edge of it where pigment gathers in that separation of the matte medium to the paper. Sorry. So that's a kind of fun and happy thing to look for. When that dries a little bit, we're going to play in that surface as well. How are we doing over here? Oh, we're not too bad. Okay. So I'm going to throw a little bit of gel medium now that this is starting to chillax. And I'll put a little gel medium over this. I'm sorry, a gesso. I apologize. I'm going to use a gel medium today. Now, the reason I'm putting the gesso down is twofold. One is to continue to work as a surface applicator to keep this bonded down to our paper so it's more manageable to draw on. But two is just to flatten that out so that we can put an image over top of it. Chris says that her cats have drank watercolor water. I hear that. I think that's completely expected thing when your cats walk by your work surface and oh, what's in here? Oh no, I don't like that at all. Okay, so sorry, I'm just trying to answer somebody here. Good news, good news. All right, so let's continue on with our composition then. So we've got a girl discovers she can do magic at boarding school while away from her family. So I usually do about an hour and a half for the stream, an hour and a half to 2 hours. I just want to sort of show you where we're going with the page. And I can do that on a separate piece of paper as I'll lay out my intention for the entirety of the page, like so. And then you can see this posted tomorrow. But if you are having fun, I do this every day, this time on YouTube. So that, and I do it live, and I always listen to the participants and try to engage them and stuff. So if you're having fun with this and you're one of the Instagram people, come on over, subscribe on the YouTube thing if you want. And that way you're never going to miss out on the fun in the sun. Okay, so the idea here is to have our young female teenager, and she's going to be doing a ta-da, kind of one of those little aesthetics. And so it's just fun. It's just the idea that as she's discovering her new abilities and her persona in this environment, it's entirely, my intention is to relate it entirely to the fact that she's not around her family. Because I think that's the funniest part of that suggestion. I'm about to go have another party tonight. Ooh, another posada. Nice. It's nice when people are able to attend holiday parties and stuff like that. I've been thinking about doing a special, like one of these days, doing a special stream where it's just sort of like, hey, let's just hang out. It's a holiday thing. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll put an announcement up in advance, and I'm going to be posting something after the stream on my community for anybody that's interested in getting a digital Christmas card from us. I wrote up the post for that. It's about to drop in the community. So all I ask is that you put your contact detail on the in the comments on the community page on our YouTube channel, so that I know where to send a card. Okay, if it's your Instagram, your Facebook, your email, whatever it is, I'm just doing a digital card from Lori and I, and sending that out. So please feel free to do that. That'll be coming out at the end next week. Chris says, I'll send you my email by Instagram. Well, put it on the list, though, because, like, put it in the comments on the community thing. So I got them all in one spot. If you don't mind, Chris, I'd appreciate that. Okay, so there'll be a little girl doing her ta-da moment. So the idea is, here's our character. Here she is in our first panel, introducing her. Here's the school, and it's pretty basic how it is now. I'm going to get a little more realistic and complex as we go. And here she is in her ta-da moment. Ta-da! And, and I'll put like a giant bunny or something like that, have some fun with it. and in the, the shock and amazement of, oh my goodness, did I do that? Big feet sticking out, make it a little cartoony. And, just playing on the motif that she is unaware of her own abilities here. And the teacher will say, of course you can do that, my darling. This is a magical place. And I just like the idea of, so I'm trying to put this in as basic as I can for you to see. Of course it's magical here. And then we'll have Frumpy Face, who's saying, well, I can never do this at home with my family. And then we can put a little montage photograph of a very large family, because that's funny to me, and that's what my brain does off the cuff. So, and then we'll have her teacher, and I don't want to give away the end, but the teacher's going to say something to her in response that is interesting to me. So hopefully, whoever sees this tomorrow is going to find these different facets of it as I've laid it out, which I tend to do when I'm doing the stream and try to let you know what my plan is for going forward. So this is the fun. This is generally what we do each day. I hope people have had fun. If I don't see anybody that's joined us here today on Instagram or on YouTube, if I don't see people before the holidays, happy holidays. And if you want to take part in the silly fun things that we do on the stream, I do it Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. EST. I think I might be changing to Monday to Friday at 12 noon here in Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in California, that would be 3 hours earlier than that, 9 o'clock. Okay. And in other parts of the world, it will be, I know that 2 p.m. in London is 10 p.m. in Israel, where Miriam is. So it would switch to 8 p.m. for her, little things like that. But I'm thinking of switching the stream either all 5 days in the new year or half, 12, whatever it is. We'll figure it out. But because there's some friends that are doing streams at different times, and I would really like to watch them doing some streaming as well, or have it playing in the background, and as Chris puts it, watching from the balcony, which just means I'm not engaging, but I'm watching it. It's just such a great expression. So that's about that. Okay. In the meantime, I will get this done. I've got a couple of things I need to do for the stuff that I do in the mornings. I usually break my day up by getting up really early in the morning and working on jobs and working on other projects. And then around noon, 10, 11, 12, I post the page from the day before. We do the stream at 2, have some fun there, dinner, family, evening stuff. And then I'll finish it up. I'll come back for an hour at night and finish up the page. So, but if I've got other stuff to do, like from my mornings, then I will do that. I'll have to wrap this up at a certain point so that I can do that around in the early afternoon before I get on to my evening stuff. So that's why I tend to call it at about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I appreciate everybody coming out. This was an experiment to come and say hi to everybody on Instagram. I'll do it occasionally. I'll come back and join in. But if you're having fun, if you're enjoying the process, please, again, check out the YouTube channel, because that's where I'm doing it Monday through Friday. And I hope you are safe and well, and you and yours are all having decent times and have more decent times through this holiday season and into the new year. Okay. All right. That's all for me now. I'll be back to Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. EST on YouTube. I'll see you then. Bye for now. Thanks for hanging out.